Your life inside a maximalist home, a first-person home decor story. So every time I talk to someone about maximalist home decor, the one question I get is, I wonder what it would be like to live in a maximalist house. And it is a little different, I can probably guarantee you that. But I wanted to make this video so you can have a point of view, first-person experience. So let's get into it. You've had a long day. The kind of day where everything just feels flat. Fluorescent lights, white walls, gray carpet, the same old desk, the same drive to work, the same drive home, the same tired feeling sitting quietly on your shoulders. By the time you pull into the driveway, you're already reaching for your keys. There's a moment before you open the door. That tiny little pause between the outside world and your own. Then your hand touches the doorknob. You push the door open, and suddenly, everything changes. Before we go any further, welcome back to Home Decor 101, your YouTube home decor channel. Our first stop, the front door. And the first thing that you see is color. Not a tiny little pop of color hiding in the corner. I mean real color, confident color. Color that greets you before you've even stepped all the way inside. Your eyes move across the entryway slowly, trying to decide where to land first. There's art on the wall. Now, I don't mean one safe little picture centered politely above the table. I mean a gallery full of frames, portraits, paintings, sketches, and little pieces that look like they were collected over time. Some of the frames are gold, some are black, some look vintage, some look really modern. Nothing matches perfectly, but somehow everything belongs. You step inside and close the door behind you. The outside world, it feels much quieter now. Almost magically, the home has swallowed the noise of the day and replaced it with something warmer. Now, beneath your feet, there's a patterned runner, rich with color and detail. It leads you forward like the home is inviting you in. To one side, a small table holds a lamp, a bowl for keys, and a stack of books. Something sculptural that you don't really fully understand, but you like it anyway, so you still have it displayed. This is not some plain Jane entryway. This is a first impression, and it tells you immediately this home has personality. You set your keys down, but you don't rush past. You never do. Because in a maximalist home, even the entryway asks for a moment. You notice the little things. A brass lamp glowing softly on the console. A patterned vase holding flowers or branches. A stack of books that looks like it's been read, not just staged. A mirror reflecting the pieces of the room behind you, making the whole space feel even more layered. The wall does not feel empty. It feels alive. And everywhere you look, there is something waiting to be noticed. A tiny framed print, a colorful tray, a carved bowl, a candle, a piece of art that feels like it has a story attached to it. And that is the first thing that maximalism teaches you. This style is not about filling a space just to fill it. It's about letting a home become a collection of moments. You take one more look around before moving deeper into the house, and already the day feels less dull. The home has pulled you out of autopilot. You are present and alert now. You are definitely awake. And now we're at the living room. Now you walk from the entryway into the living room, and the space opens up around you. This is where maximalism really starts to breathe. The room is layered, but not messy. Bold, but not careless. A velvet sofa sits in the center of the room, deep and rich in color. The throw pillows on the sofa do not match. One has fringe, one has embroidery, one has a bold print. The other is very soft and simple. But together, they feel like they are having a conversation. Your eyes move to the rug underneath the coffee table. It's patterned and full of detail, grounding the room in color and texture. It doesn't disappear into the background. It stays front and center and helps tell the story. The coffee table is not empty either. There are books, a candle, a bowl, even some fresh flowers, and a little object picked up from a trip years ago. This room does not feel like it was ordered off of a website in one afternoon. This room feels collected, found, chosen, loved. You sit down on your sofa just for a sec, but the second that you do, your shoulders drop. It does not ask you to keep everything beige, quiet, and safe. It lets you be a little bold, a little crazy. It lets you be a little complicated. That little part of yourself that you really don't get to show anymore, but you secretly love about yourself. And after a long day of trying to fit into the world outside, this room feels like paradise. From where you're sitting, you start to notice more. A tall bookshelf filled with books, pottery, framed photos, baskets, and objects that look like they have been gathered slowly over time. A statement lamp in the corner, glowing warmly. Artwork layered above the mantel, mixing different sizes and styles. A plant reaching toward the ceiling, softening all the color and pattern with something natural. You look around and realize this room is full, but it's not cluttered. This room has confidence. It knows exactly what it is. Eventually, you stand and you walk toward the dining room. And even here, the home refuses to be boring. The dining table feels like the center of a story. Yeah, your chairs don't all match. Do they need to? Your table is old wood with marks and character. Above it, a chandelier hangs like jewelry for the room. Your walls are lined with art, plates, mirrors, and dramatic color. Even the table setting has personality. Now, before you fully settle in for the evening, you step into the bathroom. And even here, the story continues. This is where you realize maximalism is not only for big rooms. It works so good in small spaces too. Of course, your bathroom walls are covered in a bold wallpaper. Something floral, dramatic, a little moody. Yes, your mirror has an unusual shape. Yes, your lighting feels warm and flattering. Yes, there's a small piece of art on the wall. Because even the bathroom deserves something interesting. You turn on the water and wash your hands. A little tray holds soap and lotion. A small vase sits near the sink. A patterned hand towel adds color. Because maximalism says that every corner matters. Later, you walk into the bedroom. and their energy shifts again. It's still layered, still expressive, still unmistakably maximalist. But it is softer here, more intimate. The bed is full and inviting, layered with pillows, blankets, textures, and fabric that make you want to fall into it. There is a pattern quilt folded at the end. The headboard is bold. The light is lower in here. A lamp glows from the nightstand. The curtains soften the window. The room feels wrapped around you. You sit on the edge of the bed for a moment. The house feels quieter now. Not because there's less to see, but because everything feels familiar. The colors, the textures, the art, all the little details. They all feel like pieces of your own personality reflected back at you. A couple of hours later, as the evening settles in, you step outside onto the back patio. And the transition feels natural. Because the style did not stop at the door. The outdoor space feels like another room. There's patterned outdoor cushions, a woven chair, a small table with a lantern, plants grouped together in different pots, string lights making everything glow. You sit down and let the day finally fall off your shoulders. Some days you have a glass of wine, other days a cup of tea. Today, you chose wine. Inside, the home is layered and expressive. But outside, the energy softens into something peaceful, but it still feels connected. The same love of texture is here. The same boldness. The same sense that someone cared enough to make even this space feel personal. You hear the quiet, the leaves moving, traffic in the far distance, a little music still playing faintly from inside. And for the first time all day, you feel fully home. Not just physically home, emotionally home. I hope you guys enjoyed my little POV here, but I wanted to talk to you really quickly because maximalism is often misunderstood. People hear the word and think that it means clutter, too much, too loud, too busy. But when it's done well, maximalism is not about having more just for the sake of more. It's about meaning. It's about creating a home where nothing feels random. A maximalist home doesn't try to disappear. It does not blend quietly into the background. It introduces itself, and then, little by little, it reveals more. And after a day spent in spaces, day in and day out, that feel plain, rushed, and impersonal, coming home to a maximalist space can feel like stepping into yourself. So now I want to know, could you live in a maximalist home? Would all this color and pattern and personality feel inspiring to you, or would it drive you crazy? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this first-person home decor experience, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, check the description box for pieces that can help you bring this feeling into your own space. And let me know if you like this video and what style I should do a first-person POV experience on next. So excited to hear. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.